All right, hey guys, we're in the studio with Scott again, and we're going to talk to leaders and pastors and team leaders at churches that want to try to create a mentoring culture in their church. And so we've talked a little bit about the organizational stuff and lead pastor roles, and we looked at your 5-section org chart. That's all great. Let's talk in this video about sort of getting your team to the next level. So, for example, let's say that your worship team is, your worship team leader is saying, I'm bringing a mentoring culture to my worship team. So every time we rehearse, we do 15 or 20 minutes, we do a topic, I let different people lead it. We're really starting to grow together, share truth and love with one another. Is that good enough? Mm-hmm. Or is there another level that worship team leader can get to with the team?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would just say, first of all, to that leader, good job, well done. Because the fact that you have established that rhythm where we're not just about a task, we're not just about worship, we're not just like playing music, that there's something bigger going on, helping people go full circle. I think that's awesome. And I would really just affirm that. But I would say that if you're doing that well, if that 15 to 20 minutes is going well, you're going to get really bothered as the leader because you're going to realize that there's issues going on in people's lives. And you're going to realize they're not going full circle, and so you're going to want to help mentor them. So what I recommend doing, and what we do is, if you're the leader, you've established that 15, 20 minutes or whatever, at that point, start identifying one or two people that you can mentor. One or two people that you feel like a connection with, or they could be an effective leader in the not too distant future, and just start meeting with them one-on-one on the side. Okay. And so, like for one team that I lead, there are 8 of us, and every meeting we start off with a Pursue God topic, and we have different people lead, different people share and pray. And then to ensure that everybody in the team there is mentored, there's 2 of us who are mentors, kind of like mentor tree mentors, I guess. And we've just divided up the group between the 2 of us. And so we each have 3 people who are mentoring.
So, okay, so in the, let's say, worship team again. So in the group setting, everyone is a part of the conversation, but then you're saying that you're also maybe on another day of the week, maybe every other week, whatever the schedule is you're getting together with that smaller group. Is it still a 15-minute conversation? Like what does that look like?
I mean, it could depend on your schedule. And for sometimes, in some seasons, maybe it is a 15-minute conversation. But you know what? A good focused 15-minute conversation is not something that most people have. So that would be great. For me, a lot of mine are longer. They're like a lunch or a coffee, where we have more time to talk and discuss. But with my schedule, I'm able to pull that off. But, there's different seasons where maybe that's shorter. But it is focused. It's focused on mentoring.
And then what's your goal with those 2 or 3 people that you're focused? Now, what's your goal with them then? Right? So now you've gone beyond the team thing. The team is still doing it because it's part of the culture. But now you're even really spending even more time personally with these 2 or 3, and your other co-leaders doing the same thing. What's your goal with those 2 or 3?
Right. Well, my goal, of course, is to help them go full circle. So I want them to become followers of Jesus, disciples who make disciple makers, and I want them to be mentors. So that's my ultimate goal. And I even say early on, this is my goal for you. My desire for you, my hope for you is that you will do this in someone else's life. You'll take it home. If you're married, you'll lead your kids, your spouse. If you're not married, I hope you'll do this for someone else. But I don't have a timeline always for when that'll happen. And if we talk about leading at home, they can do that pretty quickly. But it might take them a while before they're really trained to be a mentor to someone else. But plant the seeds of that very early on.
So what do you say to the person who brings up the objection? Because when we're talking about mentoring, we're saying using the flex method. Find a topic, learn about it on your own, send it out, and then have explore it together in conversation. Some people might say, it just seems so wooden. It seems so forced. What would you say to the team leader who might be thinking that? How would you explain that to a team leader?
Well, I would say, always we need to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit and His leading. I find that happens more in one-on-one conversations. Team conversations, like you're going to have team meetings anyway, and you might as well make the most use of them. And it brings a lot more structure, and you can accomplish a lot more over a longer period if you have a team mentoring structure that's just built in. And I'd say all of my teams, small groups, that mentoring piece, think about the teams, that mentoring piece tends to be the most fun time together because you're just talking about life or maybe you're getting a debate about ideas, whatever. And I would say, personally, it can feel wooden. There's going to be awkward one-on-one mentoring conversations, and that's okay. I would just say that sometimes we just need to be sensitive. Sometimes that mentoring conversation is 15 minutes because maybe something else is going on in that person's heart, and they need to talk about something else. That's okay. But for the most part, I would say let that mentoring guide you, because again, it gives you a plan and a purpose, and you're not just doing discipleship indefinitely, sort of purposeless.
Right. Yeah, you're using the tool. That's what we always say. That's what I say to my guys. I'm using the tool so that you can go full circle. It's not just because I need a tool. Some of you leaders and pastors might say, I don't need a tool. I'm a counselor. I'm a pastor. I'm trained. I'm seminary trained, whatever. I read my Bible. That's great. We read our Bibles too, but we use a tool because we don't want to just help someone else pursue God. We want to equip someone to help someone else in the next generation to pursue God. So that's why we generally start with the tool in your team and then break it down and really begin to sort of try to get your mentor tree to grow through your team. One more question. So what about someone who's on a worship team and on a clean team and in a small group? So you know what I'm saying? Are they do they have to have 4 mentors if they're on 4 different teams?
Well, this is where the beauty of the discipleship culture will come into play. If you have a discipleship culture in your church, then what you're going to find is someone on your worship team is already in a small group that's doing mentoring. And you'll realize they don't need another mentor. They already have a mentor. Or you'll have a kids' church teacher who is already in a mentoring relationship, who has a mentor and is mentoring other people. And so you can just say, that's awesome. And I'm just going to pray for you. And I just want to encourage that. And you'll have team meetings where you do team mentoring, because I think that's an important culture. It's important for training. And you're going to have new people who come into the training who maybe aren't part of mentoring relationships. But the more you have a strong discipleship culture, the more that people will just sort of cross-pollinate. Because they'll be in multiple teams and multiple spheres, and they'll be doing this. And
that's probably where the kind of the broader team leader meetings are going to be important, because you get everyone in the room together and you're talking about who's mentoring who. And as a team of team leaders, you're all just trying to make sure everybody has a shepherd, everyone has a mentor, and everyone has an opportunity to be helped by somebody. And then everyone ultimately has an opportunity to help somebody else to pursue God. So that's good. Well, that's enough for this particular conversation. So if you're watching this with your leaders, some of your team leaders, as you're trying to process, how do we bring a mentoring culture to our church or to our ministry, go ahead and use the questions below. We'll put some other links below as well so that you can have the next conversation and keep trying to bring that mentoring culture into your church so that you can help everyone in your church pursue God.